Hello everyone and welcome to Of God in Mind. Got a bunch of news for you today. So North Korea's been firing off missiles pretty much once a week for the past 3 weeks, and the last one of these, fired on Monday, has landed in Japanese waters. And in response to this, Japan's Prime Minister has said that Japan will take concrete action with the US in light of this new continued threat. Obviously the North Korean situation's been a bit of a mess for quite a long time. The new regime is especially belligerent, at least at the moment, probably in response to not knowing what America under Trump is going to do, is sort of the leading theory. But whatever the case, they're getting harder and harder to rein in, and things are sort of teetering on the brink over there. Now, those of you who know a bit about Japan might know that previously its constitution did not allow any overseas military action, but recently, I think last year, its constitution was amended to allow for military action to be undertaken overseas for the purposes of defense. So should it come down to it, Japan is able to join a war with North Korea. Very tricky situation there. As was said recently by a US politician, a war there would be very costly. North Korea is lined up with lots of artillery and missiles and everything, faced on South Korea, which is very densely populated. It would be a messy war, costly war in terms of human life. But it's hard to see other ways that this can eventually end. North Korea is not likely to back down or collapse anytime soon, and even China can no longer get through to them. And it's hard to know what would even happen should China actually get involved. Should it actually come to war, would China just ignore them, or can China tolerate having a sort of American-style democratic capitalist society on their borders? Would they consider that too much of a threat to their internal unity and prop up North Korea once again, despite not having any real love for it these days? Or would they just let it fall and be confident in their own ability to withstand that? It's a bit hard to tell. There's a decent chance of the latter these days, but you never know. But anyway, it's not as if I'm not here saying that war is imminent in the region, but it is a very on the edge situation over there, and it is one that has potential to bring in at least 2 superpowers, with being China and the US. Even though it's unlikely to enter up into a sort of global war should that happen, they're likely to just do the same thing they did last Korean War. America makes big inroads, then China decides it has enough, pushes them back, and then they just go, oh well, I guess this is this, and leave it there. Right, also in Asian news, Taiwan, a Taiwanese court has legalized same-sex marriage, becoming the first place in Asia to do so. It's demanded that within the next 2 years, laws have to be amended to allow for same-sex couples, or introducing new laws to allow them to marry. No real specifications on that at the moment. That's still open for debate. As for what this means for the rest of Asia, honestly, probably not a lot. Taiwan's always been a bit of an outlier in the region. Japan's probably the only one somewhat likely to follow suit, having similar sort of, or South Korea, I suppose, both having the sort of more Western liberal mindset, but even that, not so much, especially in Japan, which is still heavily traditionalist. But anyway, I've completely forgot to put anything in about the terrorist attacks. They're just so common these days, you tend to forget them. Sorry about that. You probably have heard of those before anyway. But anyway, in other news, in Paris, Smaller news this time compared to the other two other big ones. There's a black feminist festival called Nyansapo, I think. Yeah, Nyansapo Festival. That has been condemned by the mayor as being racist because it excludes those who are not black women from the vast majority of the event. And I think that's a pretty fair call on the mayor's part, that this is it might be it's still racist if you're excluding all the white people. It doesn't make it right to exclude one race over the other, even if the other race is the one that's normally excluded. And it's quite glad to see France will follow through on that, because that's been a bit of a sore point for some people for a while. Some people just don't like losing superior status of Caucasian race, but others, you sort of worry when it comes down to it, will we just become the new oppressed people? And it's good to see that now people, at least some people, are aiming for equality and not to put their own race over the others. Because you never know with people, we do all manner of terrible things to get ahead for ours and our own. Anyway, that's sort of the big political news for the moment. See you all next time.